President Biden assumed office, the United States has seemingly taken a more proactive approach in managing its relations with the 10 ASEAN countries as compared to the Trump era. For example, Biden introduced the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, IPEF, established smaller alliances with Southeast Asian nations, such as the Philippines, and crafted distinct diplomatic strategies for different countries. So let's start with today's talk. Do you believe that Biden's multifaceted efforts over the past 4 years have enabled the U.S. to match the influence that you can see that China has cultivated over the years? What's your take on this, Professor Liu?
Yes, I think I totally agree with the argument that the Biden administration actually put a lot of efforts in trying to bringing the states back in to this region. And I think to a certain degree, it is quite successful in terms of its strategy. Because traditionally, we tend to see the ASEAN countries, we try to categorize them, all of them, into two categories based on geopolitical analysis. So for example, there are so-called sea powers, which include Indonesia, Malaysia, Brunei, the Philippines, Singapore, and Vietnam. And there are some land powers. For example, namely, you got Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, and Thailand. In terms of those, the distinguish between the two groups, usually the sea powers are leaning more to the United States in history, and land powers seems to be aligning themselves more with China. But before the Biden administration came in, actually we did witness some sea powers actually were hedging between the United States and China, if not leaning to China, such as the Philippines. And for now, as we can see, there are at least two countries actually adopt a very different strategy vis-a-vis their predecessors. So for example, the Philippines, President Marcos Jr. Actually earlier this year agreed to enhance its security relationship with the United States, even trying to expand the military bases for U.S. to collaborate from 5 bases to 9 bases.
So thank you, Professor Liu. And Professor Hu, I understand that you come from ASEAN, you come from Malaysia. So what's your take on this regarding what Professor Liu said, the land power and sea power, and regarding some change in the positions or the attitudes towards becoming from pro-China to pro-US? What's your take on this, Professor Hu?
Yeah, so in Malaysia's defense white paper, we have a line that says geography is destiny. So in a way, maritime Southeast Asia and continental Southeast Asia, we actually have no choice but to engage with both the United States and China. So if we lean towards siding with one side, that's actually detrimental to our national interest, whether it is politics or economic, for example. So Biden's approach is more acceptable in comparison to Trump's. So it actually helped repair some of the bilateral relations with Southeast Asian countries. So in that way, it helped enhance the United States' image in Southeast Asia, even though institutionally ASEAN as a whole, the general perception in the United States is that it's not credible enough because it is not action-based. But for ASEAN, it is very important to have consensus with each other, because if we are not united, then we are very easily swayed by one or other great power that would divide us, and that would actually create more instability in the region.